I'm here with Nat Smith from the Awabakal Early Learning and Childhood.
Yep.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm not too bad, not too bad.
That's good.
I'm here today to talk about I'm quitting. And I've been told that you've given up the
Yep.
ciggies.
I'm here to talk about quitting.
Yeah?
That I quit.
So, where are you from and where'd you grow up?
I'm here. I was born here in Newcastle. Grew up out in Ellamore Vale. So, grew up with a lot of the cousins. With Nan over at Nan's house and at Mum and Dad. So, had a good upbringing.
And your family line, and you come from up Gloucester way and all that?
Yeah, Mum and Nan are from up at Gloucester, and then they've been down here for
Oh, a long time.
yeah, very long time.
I think your nan had known me since I was pooping yellow.
Yeah,
And I was born a long time ago, but we won't get into
that
that.
is correct. You were.
Now, a question I'd like to just start off with is, before we get into your journey and everything on how you gave up, I'd like to ask firstly, how did you start?
That's a really good question. A couple of friends were doing it. Was cool. And
Yeah.
we didn't know the dangers of it, I suppose,
Yeah.
and how addictive it was.
Teenager?
Yep. Not proud to say that, but I was a teenager.
Oh, look, a lot of...
And when you hang around with, when they're the youngest of the crew, and a lot of your friends are older,
Yeah.
you tend to follow suit.
Yeah, no, look, we hear that a lot with that cycle of, whether it's people just picking up because that is what the trend is and what a lot of their friends and mob do, and that's just how it was.
Yeah, that was normal.
So, from then to when you gave up, how many years was that, do you think?
I started at about 15 and I'm 33 now, so I've given up multiple times, like after touch tournaments where you've gone a bit hard on the Saturday or the Sunday night, during pregnancies, but I somehow always found the cigarette back in my hand.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when they see people smoking, and they just go, oh, how can they do that? But what is it that, I suppose what I've been taught, it's the nicotine that's in it, and is it really? Did you find that it was the nicotine that was really aggressive and just made you want to have it, or was it just triggers of around your friends, having a coffee in the morning when you first get up? Why was it? Why? Because everyone knows it's bad.
Yeah, I read an Alan Carr book on no smoking, and that's what helped me quit. And the way it's explained in that book, that it's a green monster, and the more you feed that monster nicotine, the more that monster wants.
Yeah.
So you mix that with the morning routine of getting up, having a coffee, having a cigarette, and then it's better have a quick one before we go here.
Yeah.
All right, we're over here, so we'll park over here so we can have a smoke before we get in there, and it just becomes a habit. It becomes life.
No, it's true. I mean, look, I don't smoke, but I have both my parents smoke. Still hang around smokers, and exactly everything you said. Then, let's just park over here and we'll have one before we go in.
Yeah, and it affects your children's life. Like, you don't go out as often because if it's a smoke-free area, we can't go there.
Yeah.
Like, because the cigarette is such a disease that it becomes almost more important than everything in the world. Like, you live your life around being able to have that cigarette. It's very sad.
What made you change? What made you, along your journey, in those last 17 years, I think, is that or past? Were there times, as you said, when you gave up and you quit? So, how long would those periods last for?
Oh, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, a couple months.
You said when you were pregnant, 9 months?
Yeah, 9 months. I had surgery on my mouth. That was 9 weeks after that one. But every day I felt like it, where with this time I can be around. I see someone having a cigarette now and I feel sorry for them. You're so trapped in that life that I just go, once you've done it, it's the greatest.
So what was it again? What was that trigger for you?
So the first trigger was, not many people know this, Dad was falsely diagnosed with emphysema.
Yep.
The doctor got it wrong, and it was okay, wow. I remember how that felt for me as his daughter to go, this is the journey we're about to be on. Dad's about to, like, it was only early stages. He ended up getting more tests done and he was okay, but as a child, hearing that about your dad, it was that mix of I'm eventually one day going to be the parent telling my child that, and I don't want them to feel how I felt. And another reason was my son has been talking a lot about the craze of vaping.
Yes.
And that was probably my biggest motivation to go, well, I can't blow smoke out of my mouth and tell you you can't. He doesn't do it, but it's just everywhere now, and I just wanted to teach him that it's not okay. So that was probably our biggest motivator, was Kai talking about vaping.
That's an excellent point. So many times, you know, we do, a lot of people say, well, if you can do it, why can't I? And if you are the person doing it, yes, it is hard to give them a response. And vaping, it has, through our youth, is
brutal.
just going crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
So it was first with your father being falsely diagnosed, but with emphysema, and I know the fear of that. Same as like both my parents with that. And then, as you said, the vaping. So that was it. That from that vaping point.
Yeah, Mitchie and I, my partner and I, he just said, "Yes, let's do it." We done it as a team. We just went for a couple of social drinks one night, and the next morning I woke up and I'd left my packet of cigarettes. And I just went, you know what, my own smokes are hiding from me, this is it.
Yeah.
And it was just breaking that habit of not getting up and having a coffee the next morning and heading out the back. And I was like, I can do it, I'm going to do it. And then 2 weeks later, with a lot of, you told me, New Year's, I've done my end of the deal. My partner gave up, so we're completely a smoke-free home.
Do you find it having someone next to you doing the same journey is helpful?
Yeah, because we like doing the same things now.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, he's going to go out, I'll sit inside. And I remember, like, the first time I did, like, we had friends over at home and we're sitting out the back in an outdoor area, and someone got up and went, I'm going to have a cigarette. And I was like, yeah, righto. And then the next person got up, and the next person got up, and it ended up being 10 people out there, and I sat there with another non-smoker, and I was like, is this what it feels like? It's a really antisocial habit. Like, you just, and then you got to come back in. Like, it's crazy how alone you are. But then once again, you look out and you go, I feel sorry for you because you're trapped.
Yeah. And I think the thing is, it becomes so routine. It's like, I've never thought about it like that, what you just said, being trapped. I think, as I said, it just becomes so routine that people wouldn't even see it as a trap, would they?
Yeah, it's normal. When you're a smoker, it's just so normal. It's a part of your life. It's like just putting clothes on in the morning, go and have a smoke.
Since you've given up, how long's it been now?
January.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's some of the first things you might have noticed? Like, a lot of people talk about taste.
Money.
Money?
Yeah. We were just banking so much money between us. Weight gain, but because of the taste, food tastes great at the moment. So I've put a lot of weight on, but money, and we're getting out more as a family.
Yeah.
We're getting out so much more as a family, because before it was like we'll clean the house, and then we were more trapped to our house because we could just smoke.
Yeah.
Now we're out more. We're getting involved in more sporting events with the kids, because we're not going, all right, we've got to go over here and have a quick smoke. Like, it's just we're involved with a lot more people. The kids are around a lot more people, so that's a massive positive, because we love being out in community. We're very big on that, and so that's probably my favourite thing, is being around more people.
With the sport, are you still playing sports?
Yeah, play.
How are you finding your breathing?
Better.
Have you noticed a difference in that?
Yeah, my breathing's better, but because I've put the weight on, I'm still, I'm getting there, but I'm out more. I actually want to go to training and that now, so that's a lot. It's a lot.
If you go and talk to the GPs at Awabakal, they can give you some helpful tips on the craving side of things. Yes, there are a lot of things that you can do, even just chewing gum, because it's just that. Thing and that.
I'm fortunate enough that I don't have that, but Dr. Dean, I went up and seen him, and he prescribed me with the Champix, and I only had probably 2 weeks of that, and I just went, I don't need that. I was so headstrong on it.
That's good.
So he was the kickstart of the journey.
If you don't mind me asking, when you said, like, the first thing that you noticed was the cost and the savings, how much a week do you think you're spending? About 100?
Yeah. In a few months, the bank had rang and offered a personal loan of pretty high amount from our bank account looking good. So just from constant savings, we got in my partner's account. It was the bank said, we've seen your savings. We want to give you a personal loan of like 30 grand or something in 3 months or something like that. 2 months.
So you're good for a loan?
No, I'm getting married. I'm getting married.
Yes,
so.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah,
I've heard.
poor fella.
No, he's a lucky fella. Very lucky, tall fella.
Very lucky tall. Very, very tall fella.
I'd like to go back to your son and the vaping. With yourself, realising I've got to be a role model for my son. And this isn't to point the finger at other people, but why do you think a lot of our mob probably don't get to that point where, I said both my parents smoked, and in the end, didn't end well for them.
Yeah.
But we just seem to have so many of our mob and who are kids, and then we seem to smoke. Is it just that trap thing, or do you think it's just that vicious circle that we're caught up in?
It's definitely that. It's very vicious, but it just becomes normal.
Yeah.
You don't see the problem in it.
Yeah.
Like you don't see that put one in your mouth. It just becomes, and everyone around you then becomes a part of that normal. They know to try and slip in around that cigarette time, if that makes sense. Like it's. My kids knew not to speak to me until I had a coffee and a cigarette. Like that's not good. Like that's really embarrassing. But everyone around you becomes in on that normal.
Finish up. What would be, if you've got someone who's out there who's just like you and they're watching this video and they're like, it was easy for her. Probably, it was, she had that happened to her father, and I don't have any kids. Is there anything you could probably say to them? Just say, look, to get them to maybe plant a seed, even planting a seed of thinking about giving up.
Yeah, you got to remember that I've given up multiple times. It wasn't just I gave up off the first hit. I can't count how many times I've had a big night in Dubbo. No, but I've given up so many times. It wasn't easy. Every journey I'd given up, I failed. It was. I think the price of them at the moment, they're just only getting higher. You'd want to be successful and buy a house and that. It's a very big dare to have a habit like that.
Just to say to people, because I have heard it quite a lot, and you do hear it on commercials, even though a lot of people would see it as a fail, just don't stop.
No, don't. I've given up that many times, like I said. You get there in the end, and it's hard. And you might click on people because you're stressed out, but it's worth it. Like my kids are the ones that are reaping the benefits now because they've got me proper now.
Have they said anything to you lately?
Yeah, they're proud of me.
Yeah?
Yeah, they tell me all the time.
That's good.
Yeah. They get stressed out, but it's mum, go out, and I'm like, no. But I'm really fortunate this time. I was that ready that I don't crave it.
Yeah.
I can go and have a couple of social drinks. I don't look for one. Nothing like I was where previously.
Yeah.
I couldn't be around anyone that had a cigarette around them because I'd be like, draw there, cuz. So, this time I was just ready. You've got to really be ready because you might have a couple of failed attempts like me in the first time, but we got there.
You got there.
We're loving it.
Nat, thank you for sharing your story. It's inspiring to hear it. I've known you for a long time, and for me to hear your story and the triggers that you've had to put up for all these years, and that entrapment.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing it.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm sure we're going to get a lot of positive out of this.
I hope so. Once it's done, and it's, the book that I'd read was Alan Carr, and he just, in his book, the No Smoking book, he just changes your way of thinking.
Yeah.
I need to have a smoke because I'm stressed, but it's, he then explains, it doesn't take the stress away. It causes the stress because a non-smoker doesn't look for a cigarette.
Yeah.
It changes your way of thinking, going, I can't use that as an excuse because it causes the stress. It doesn't help it. It's a really good book. If you're keen, that's a great book to read.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cut.